Gaming division.
Hey everybody, we're here today to talk about Little Inferno Fireplace. It's a PC game. It's made by the same people who made World of Goo. If you haven't played that game, go play it. It's a wonderful little puzzly time. Little Inferno Fireplace is kind of a matching economy game when it comes down to it. The short sale of it is that you burn stuff in a fireplace and you get rewarded based on the quality and combinations of the items you burn. My love it for this game actually has to be the little interaction you get with your neighbor. For whatever reason, she can't get away from her fireplace, but she keeps writing you letters and giving them to the postman, who gives them to you, and you get them and you read through her letter and you burn them. But it honestly gives the game a little bit of substance, and it gives you some weird little objectives to help spur you through the game. And honestly, if you're playing as quickly as you can, just when the enjoyment factor for me dipped, something would happen. I'd get a weird letter, or the new catalog would pop up, and they'll go, get all this now, let's see what this does. The one thing I do hate about this game is that there are several unique items that you get from your neighbor and from the Tomorrow Corporation. Only one of these actually does anything. You can't do anything with the rest of them other than burn them. And they don't let you store it away on a shelf somewhere. You have to leave it in your rack with all the other items that you grab to burn. And if you grab it by mistake, there's no way to put it back in your rack. So then you essentially have to play the whole game over in order to utilize that one object. So their unique object system could use some work. Let's move on to the categories. Aesthetics. The people who did this game were the same people who did World of Goo. I thought it then, I think it now. They have a really creepy aesthetic for how they think their characters should work. They're very characteristic, and they've got like these weird heads, bulbous eyes, and it works. I love it. I really do. It's creepy and weird, but it's just so enough where it's still fun. It's not as far as salad fingers. Don't think that. The objects that you burn and interact with all kind of have the same quality, and it's very high definition as far as I'm concerned. The graphics are very well done. Aesthetics gets a 90. Control interface. Personally, I love a game that you can play with just a mouse. I think it's awesome. Point, click, drag, that's all you need. Now this can get problematic, especially anytime that you're pressed for time. There are no time limits in this game, but however, if you were trying to get a certain combo off, it can be a little hard to make sure that you get things dragged up there into a fire if something has accidentally caught on fire. But there's no real consequence, you just have to spend the time to order the new items and burn them again. As long as you know what you're trying to burn, it's fine. Control interface gets a 90. Environmental controls. There's very limited environmental controls in this game. Everything happens in your little fireplace, and gravity is typically straight down. Only other thing that you have to worry about is what's catching on fire and how far and how quickly it's spread. If you've managed to get everything you want in the place before things you don't want to catch fire. With that said, they do put enough exceptions in there to make it interesting. They put little planets and things in there to change gravity. There are things that don't just burn, they have freezing or disease effects, which could throw a monkey wrench in your plans just as much as it's interesting. Especially the first time when you don't know it. Environmental controls gets a 90. Game mechanics. Wow, they were genius when they came up with this one. The reward system is phenomenal. There's no way to lose in this game, which I'm always a fan of. Even if you spend every bit of money you have and you manage to stay at zero. I only did it once. They have these little spiders and flies that come in and you can burn them and you actually get money for that. So eventually, as long as you're putting effort in, you'll be able to pick your game up wherever you left off. Because you can always burn something, and you always get a little bit more money. And if you do it right, eventually you get up to like 999, and you just sit there because you're the king of this game, and you know better. Game mechanics gets a 90. Storyline. Going into this review, I didn't even think there'd be a storyline aspect. Then I remembered my favorite part was probably the neighbor, and there's a whole storyline just with her. She's writing letters, she's telling you about stuff, you interact, you have a relationship with this person, regardless of whatever you want to pretend it is. You go through that whole tragedy, she's right next door, who's to say that your place couldn't have got burnt down too? And when you finish the game, I wanted to go visit her. I wanted to go next door and see what was up. but it doesn't give you that option. You do, however, get to go to the Tomorrow Corporation and meet the creator of Little Fireplace Inferno. But I didn't have my ticket, and when I started a game over just to see what would happen there, I picked it up by accident and had to burn it. Storyline gets a 90. Now if we total all that up, that gives us an average of 90. The joy of this game is its simplicity. Everyone can play, everyone can have fun, and eventually everyone can finish it. They put just enough complexity in it that people looking for higher difficulty can attain that. But nobody has to finish the entire game to its fullest extent. Eventually everyone can reach the end and see the results. The game itself is actually a great example of how the item and experience system should work in an MMO. Everybody can get there eventually. Everybody can get everything eventually if they put the time and effort into it. But throwing on top of that, being able to pay to advance is definitely worth it. It makes it more enjoyable for the player. If they've already done this on a previous player and they feel like paying for it, that's great. It should never be a requirement that you have to pay money for an in-game experience. You put it there for the convenience of the player, and not only does that make it more likely that they'll do it because it's something they want to do, it ensures that they'll keep playing the game and they have a possibility of spending money with you later. But that's all I got for you today. I'm Cameron. Have a nice day.